And you've just heard Where Arrows Meet by Arrows Meet. And I'm delighted to be joined by Natasha and Jim, who are Arrows Meet. Hello, both.
Hello, Ali.
Now, we should explain to people, Natasha's in Australia and Jim, well, you're not too far from me in Glasgow. So this is a truly international call. Natasha, whereabouts in Australia are you?
I am in a tiny little town called Kalbarri, north of Perth, north of Geraldton, and it has a absolutely amazing national park here. It's a place of great beauty, big gorges. You know, we've been hiking in the gorges here, and it's just, I mean, it's mind blowing what the landscape is. It's a really incredible place. So my mom is Australian, so that's why I'm here.
That's fabulous. And I think, if my knowledge is right, it's a part of Australia that still not many people go to. You know, when people go to Australia, that even if they go to Perth, they don't tend to maybe go that far north.
No, it's quite a distance. So I think it took about 6-7 hours to get up here. So yeah, it's quite distance, and it's a small town.
Yeah,
it's still a very small town vibe about it, but it's next to the ocean, and I mean it's stunningly beautiful. But it hasn't rained here. Well, since September, it's only rained twice. So it's very hot at the moment. Considering it's autumn, it's a little worrying, but it's been like 38, 39 every day at the moment.
Incredible. Yeah. And Jim, when was the last time it rained in Cessnock?
Now.
Out my window.
Now.
So I'm really interested how Arrows Meet kind of came about and how you got to make music together. Jim, let's start with yourself.
Well, Natasha and I have been friends for decades, and
we actually met in Australia, correct, Jim?
Yeah. And we met when I was in Australia on tour with Biss, the band.
Yeah.
And Natasha was friends with a couple of the band, and so she turned up at the sound check for a gig with her skateboard and a rucksack, something, and so that was the first time I met her. When she moved to Glasgow, we sort of became friends gradually over a long period, and we've been in various bands. We've sort of crossed paths and had a hand in various little projects that we've both done, but it's never been like a permanent regular thing at all. And then there was which should really let Natasha fill in the earlier part of this, but basically a band that she'd been in earlier she had a connection with some guy in America, this guy called Chris Carruthers, who was in a band called Atavan, and he'd asked her to help out with a project that he was working on. So she had to record some vocals and stuff for a track that he wanted to put out, and she came to me saying, "Do you want to give me a hand with this?" We worked on that. It was really successful, but before that we'd both DJ'd together at various times. Right. One of the best things was, I don't know if you're aware of the Bell and Sebastian Boaty Festival Weekender.
Yeah.
So we DJ'd, we did all the after show parties at that. So basically we were on the late shift, and once
in the casino.
In the casino, indeed. And basically once the bands had stopped playing, everybody came to us, and we just played banging like old school disco, hip hop. Natasha played loads of remix stuff and hip hop stuff, and it was a riot. And after that, we were thinking, well, we would love to be making music like this, because we're both kind of guitar guys, and so after we did this project, which was just like last summer, I think, for the American guy, and it was a very ethereal, atmospheric kind of thing, nothing like what we do. But after working on that, we immediately, like literally a week after doing that, we had a couple of ideas that we just threw together, and we both realized this was what we needed to bring the DJing side of what we liked into actual making our own music. And it was almost, a finger snap, blink of an eye moment and suddenly we were doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, beyond
is that right? Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, the single came out for Adavan on Joyful Noise recordings in America, and they've got great bands on there like Deerhoof and a
Yeah.
lot of others.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was really great working with Jim. And yeah, we just kept going, didn't we? We just kept going.
Yeah.
And we just want to do something really fun and upbeat and kind of hooky and just yeah, we just came up with. We actually recorded Be All and End All first.
Right.
That was
Yeah.
actually our first. So that was the first thing we ever done, and you know, we just loved it.
Yeah.
And we thought, let's just keep going. Let's just keep making music like this. You know, we are into the same sort of bands, even though
Yeah.
we are free guitar-y background. You know, we love electronic music. We love like bands like Hot Chip that are kind of crossover between both. And Jim's a huge fan of Sparks. And yeah, some like 80s stuff like Gina X and Gina X's producer, who Jim knows.
Scots Whay Hae, the great German producer with a great name. But it was a kind of all the stuff that we liked to DJ is all the music that we thought, well, we've never actually made music like this because we've always made the guitar music, but we both love stuff like that, and so all of this, honestly, we were just throwing hooks and riffs at each other all the time, and lyrics and beats, and it was just like everything. We were just really enjoying it. There was a lot of laughing as well, some and even some fair bits of dancing, you know. So it was just quite a unique experience, and not like any band that I've been in before.
I mean, I guess if you're both doing DJ sets without knowing it, you're kind of almost auditioning for each other in terms of here's my musical tastes laid out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ali. Yeah, there's a kind of like, we already knew where each of us was coming from, you know, in that area of music. And as I say, I'm probably more old school disco and funk, and Natasha's probably more hip hop and electro, and that's what forms the band. Yeah.
I think it's important to note, though, although we're making, you know, a lot of electronic indie dance or synth pop, we play all the instruments.
Yeah.
You know, we put together all the instruments, and the timpanis are real timpanis that we use in both tracks. And, you know, all the guitars are you know, we play them, and this, you know, we play synth and everything. So it's a very live sounding band, because it is, you know, we do some, and all the vocals, obviously, putting that in.
Yeah, it would be easy to imagine if you know that maybe a bass, and especially with electronic music, you know, maybe some of the drum beats are loops. A lot of the drums are programmed, but some of the drum beats are just straight loops. But it'd be easy to imagine things like bass lines or synth lines are loops and phrases, but they're not. They're all played. Every note is played.
Yeah, I think
World War II siren might have been a sample.
The what?
The World War II siren we used in the.
Well, actually, the World War II is a siren, is a sample, but also we're wailing along with it.
That's right.
Remember, which was quite a laughing moment.
I thought for a moment, Jim, you were going to say, actually, I've got a World War II siren.
I have. I've just got
in my kitchen. And you know, you mentioning things like when I was listening, we heard Where Arrows Meet, and we'll hear Be All End All in a moment. And I was thinking about how am I kind of thinking about these songs, and there is a disco electropop feel, and it's interesting to think that those disco bands and earlier electronic bands, a lot of them did play the instruments live. They weren't samples, you know, bands like Chic and things like that. These were all incredible musicians that played these things. So it fits what you're talking about.
Absolutely. I DJ at a roller disco on a regular basis. Well, the only roller disco in Glasgow, Roller Stop, and I play lots of this stuff. And there's a lot of young people, and I see them skating. They're skating around. They're singing the choruses. They're coming up and giving me a big thumbs up. And I'm going, how do they know these tunes? And then you realise that, like you're saying, that all of these they were all unbelievable musicians. Loads of, you know, the bass and the drums in these songs is stunning. Do you know? And of course, Nile Rodgers and forgotten the bass player's name off the top of my head, Bernard. Do you know? Were just and Chic were just amazing. But then now you've got, like, you know, Jay-Z and Kanye and everybody sampling, just taking chunks of that and sampling it and doing their thing with it and doing a new thing and taking it to a new. So all these people in their from 18, 21, 25, you know, that were not, their parents were barely around when these records came out. But they're like they totally know them because they've all been sampled and dropped in. So it's kind of, but as I say, to go back to that, we all our stuff is played. If somebody thinks any piece of our music is a sample, I'd be honoured.
And Natasha, the aside question from that is, are you going to play live? It sounds like if it's on record live, then, you know, that's definitely a possibility.
Oh, 100%. In fact, we're hoping to get a couple of things lined up. We have teamed up with a pajama company. It's amazing designers that design these incredible pajamas called Irregular Sleep Pattern. And we did a piece of music for them. It's actually a little sample of Be All and End All, and they're going to be using it in their spring collection as the music for their ads and things. And they are having an event at their house, which we are actually going to be doing a little bit of live performing at. So there's that. And also we are thinking about doing a launch at the roller disco as well.
Yep.
So that will probably be in June, July time.
Yeah.
But yes, there is only two of us, so it is about working out how to actually just put that together, you know, because there is obviously so many layers of instruments and things, and we can't play them all.
Yeah. Until we can afford to hire, you know, Rocky Brandt and Nile Rodgers and Doug Wimbish, you know, to fill in the other bits. There'll be an element of backing tracks. It'll be a half and half kind of thing live, but definitely we're working towards playing live. It's what we really want to do.
I mean, we love playing live, so yeah, it's important for us that the band is a live band.
Yeah.
And that we can, I mean, life goals is basically short-term goals is gigs, life goals is festivals. So, you know, world tours. So it's important to us that we can perform it live and travel with it. And I can't wait, actually, because it'll be really fun. We'll probably be playing a lot of guitars. We'll have drums set up. We'll have guitars. We'll have the timpanis.
Yep.
And like a bunch of synths, and we'll probably just move around.
Right.
That's the basic concept at the moment.
Well, when you have definite dates, let me know, and I'll share them with our listeners. That sounds really
brilliant.
Exciting.
Thank you.
And
yeah, you'll need to come as well.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. I don't know if I'll get on a pair of roller skates. That's been a long time since I've done that.
There's a spectators area. Don't worry.
That's a safe area. That's what I need, definitely. And what about other plans for recording new music together? Are you already thinking about that?
Natasha went away to Australia and left me with a ton of editing to do. So that's what I'm doing to avoid the rain. So it worked out quite nicely. But yeah, there's another half a dozen songs in progress. There's two that are virtually ready to follow up the last two releases. So I would hope we'll have another one out by the time Natasha comes back, and we're doing these launch events. I would hope we'll have at least the third track ready to release, the fourth one close behind it, and then, as I say, there's another handful coming up the pipeline. So I mean, until we just stop having ideas, but we're having so much fun with it, and it takes so many twists and turns. I don't have any sense. I don't have any sense of it running out at all. I wish we had the time and the money to just, like, you know, do the classic 4 weeks in the recording studio and let's get this sorted. It would be because the stuff's all there and ready to go.
Yeah, we've got an exciting next track planned of a Malaysian cover. I'm actually half Malaysian as well. My mom's Australian, my dad's Malaysian, but we're actually going to be doing a traditional Malaysian song as a cover.
Wow.
And the very first instrument I ever played was in the gamelan orchestra as a child for the in Malaysia at the UKM University where my dad worked. I played gamelan with all the staff and students, and this track will have feature gamelan, and it's an incredible piece of music by a woman called Saloma, and the track is Ringes Ringes, and it's a beautiful 60s vibe, isn't it, Jim?
It's got that kind of that kind of 60s Eastern kind of mix where it sounds like it could have been half written in San Francisco and half written in the Far East. It's really nice the way it comes together. I mean, that's the original.
Yeah.
It sounds like that. It's, it's just that strange crossover vibe. So it's kind of nice little guitar, almost mamas and the papas kind of guitar chords, but it's got this Malaysian melody and these beautiful love lyrics over it. They're all in Malaysian, and we're just going to. I mean, it sounds mental, right? But it's great. It's a lovely tune. We're going to put obviously a different groove to it, and the thing that we often do when we're not sure about something is we just go, "What would Sparks do?" It's pretty cool.
Now wait, is that both of you do that, Natasha, or is that Jim that says what would Sparks do?
I think that's kind of mostly you, Jim.
Yeah, it's me.
But it sounds, Natasha, it sounds a little bit of a departure from the first two releases. Is it, or do you bring the Arrows Meet sound into it?
It's definitely, I mean, it's actually gone in a little Boney M direction, if I'm completely honest. So we will see. It's going to be another really interesting piece of music. And that's, I think our other two have been quite interesting as well. Like there's so much going on, and it's definitely in the same vein. So, I had imagined it to be much softer, a more delicate piece, but the way it's coming out, there is some Boney M in there for sure.
If I can chip in with that, Ali, there's that. I mean, the previous two releases, I like to think there's a real kind of poppy disco kind of hooks going on there, but both tracks take a little bit of a journey, in a way that almost prog music would, but without being proggy. But in that way, it's not a straightforward verse chorus kind of structure that you would normally get in songs. But there's that. But the hooks are all there, and this. By the same token, though, the band overall, I think, is a bit like that. Hopefully it's all quite catchy. It's all quite hooky. It's all very accessible, but you just never know where it's going to go next, and that's what's making this one really interesting. And as Natasha says, it's turning out the way it's almost as if the music's doing it by itself. We do very much kind of follow the muse, and sometimes if it just sounds right, even there's no rules. So if it sounds right, just go with it and see where it goes. And if it ends up being a Boney M, sounding like a Boney M cover, they made some great songs.
Absolutely. Come back to the German production side of things again. People that another brilliant home of classic German production, and like the Zeus Be Held and the Connie Plank stuff, and I've forgotten the Boney M guy's name. Didn't he just die recently as well? He just died recently. I can't remember his name, but you're absolutely
the producer. Yeah, maybe you can dub this in when it goes out on air to make me sound like I know what I'm talking about.
But what comes across clearly is that you're both just really enjoying making music together and putting it out. Is that's what it feels like to me?
It's fantastic. I mean, if you can. Sorry, on you go.
if we can make people smile and feel happy listening to it, then our job is done, I think.
Well,
I would add to that, Ali, if I can just add to that. I think we're both in other bands, and we're both in other bands that we're very happy with, but also we've both been in bands that we weren't happy with. You know, we've both had the experience of why am I doing this? Why am I putting up with this? And oh God, it's such a chore, but the better just, go and do my bit. I don't want to, let anybody down or this, that, the next thing. And so this is just brilliantly not remotely like that.
I didn't want to bring anything like that up, but I did wonder. It felt like, what, we've done projects in the past. You've both been making music for a while, and it seems to me like this time you've decided, let's make music, and we're just going to enjoy the sheer thrill of making music. That seems to be what comes across. And in the music as well, I wasn't sure what to expect when you sent it to me. And I thought, and I'm not sure at all, but when I listen to it, this is two people that are really, it makes me feel good. And if it makes me feel good, it usually comes from people that are feeling good doing it.
Couldn't ask for a better response, Ali. Thanks. You've made my day. That's exactly what we want to put across. That's great. Cheers.
Well, thank you to both of you, particularly for, I don't know, what time is it with you, Natasha? When have we got you?
It's a very respectable 8:30 p.m.
Oh, that's all right.
It's not too bad. Can I just show you there? I mean, this is how many, can you see all the moths on the window there?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just full of life here. It's amazing. When the nighttime comes, everything comes out.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I really do appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to the next release, definitely now, after having heard about it.
That's great, Ali. Thanks very much for having us. It's nice to chat about it and get it out to people. That's all we want to do. Is just we're so excited about this stuff. It's like we want it here. Listen to this. You'll like it.
Well, people can do that now, because this is Arrow's Meat and Be All End All.